Do you know what is one of the most frustrating feelings as a recruiter? You pull a job at your client and you get a good commitment from him, and then you find good candidates and you organize an interview, and after the candidate agreed on everything, after the most difficult part of the job is done, eventually the candidate doesn't show up. It is extremely frustrating, and let me know in the comment section if you can relate to it. And if there is certainly no way to avoid it to happen at 100%, there is certainly multiple things that you can do to minimize the risk and to maximize the chances that your candidate attends to the interview. And this is what I'm going to teach you in today's video. Tip number 1, make sure that they have your contact details, and more importantly, that they feel comfortable to reach out to you if they need to reschedule the interview. That is really important because sometimes, after all, they are human beings as you. And sometimes they are getting stressed because something happened the day before or the same day and they have to change the interview, but they don't feel comfortable to do it and they panic and they run away. So there is not necessarily a bad intention behind it, and it's just because they don't feel comfortable. So when you have them on the phone, just let them know, okay, we planned the interview for that day. If anything happens, it is not big of a deal. Just drop me a message, give me a call, and we can reschedule. Just let me know. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. Tip number 2, proactivity and reactivity. As soon as you talk to the candidate, send them an email with all the details, with the job description, with the person they're going to meet, the date, the hour, is it remote, if it is on-site, the correct address, how to get there, etc. So make this easy for them. They should never have to chase you to get any information about this process. Tip number 3, make sure that he accepted your calendar invite. And if he didn't within 24 hours, give him a call, make sure that he received your invite and ask him to accept and confirm. Tip number 4, plan a call the day before the interview to prepare the candidate to the interview. So you're just explaining, okay, let's plan a call the day before so I can give you extra information and to prepare you a bit more for the interview. And also it will be the opportunity for you to double check and make sure that everything is still alright for the next day. Tip number 5, the first thing that I do in the morning when I have interviews is to send a reminder, a text message to my candidate. So I will send a text message early in the morning to say, hey, Mr. the candidate, here is a reminder for today's interview planned at 2 p.m. with Mr. the client, and I sign Ivan from HPR. And please, before the tip number 6, if you like it so far, like the video, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. Now, tip number 6, sit in on interview. So what does it mean? It means that as a recruiter, you can also attend the interview and participate to the interview with the client and the candidate. If it is on-site, it is even better because you can invite the candidate to come 30 minutes earlier so you can make sure that he won't be late and you have time to get to know each other and to prepare him a last time before the interview. If it is remote, no problem. Just let the candidate know that you will attend the interview and that you will be there. Tip number 7, be confrontational if needed. So as you know, in sales, one of the fundamentals is always be closing, ABC, always be a step ahead. Never leave any room for assumptions. So if through the process you feel that there is anything wrong, that you are not very comfortable or confident in your candidate going to the interview or telling you everything or being committed, then be confrontational. So challenge your candidate and don't stick your head in the sand. If you feel that he's a bit hesitant or not really sure in the way he talks, in his tone, just confront him and say, okay, are you sure that you will be able to attend? I think that you are a bit hesitant there. Do not hesitate to challenge the candidate because you will regret it afterward when it is too late. Tip number 8, plan a meeting or a follow-up call to take the candidate's feedback just after the interview. It will increase his commitment. Tip number 9, and only if you feel that it is needed because, for example, you recently had a bad experience with the client, with a candidate not showing up, and really you don't want that to happen twice in a row, then make your candidate accountable. Make him realize that this could have consequences because another candidate who is really interested in the role and who needs that job could be attending to this interview instead of him, or it could delay the recruitment process and the client is also losing time and it is delaying his project, or you could lose the client. It has impact, it has consequences. So it is really important to make the candidate realize that you are in it together and to not underestimate the consequences that it could have if he doesn't show up. And last but not least, hold yourself accountable and don't make any excuse, because it goes without saying that the better you sell the job, the higher will be the commitment. And it comes to the information that you share, how concrete it is, how detailed, how in line with the candidate's profiles and expectations, etc. So it is also your job to increase the candidate commitment with the quality of the information that you share. And a last thing to mention is if you really want to decrease that risk of having a no-show-up interview, it is really important to select and choose your candidates wisely, the one that you will send to go on interview. So to do that, what I suggest you is to watch that video next when I will explain you everything, how to select the best candidate to maximize your send out to interview ratio and your interview to placement ratio. Even though you don't have a technical background, you are not able to assess the technical skills, but still with those tips, you will be able to select the best candidate. Watch this video next, like this one, and see you in the next video next week.